was curious. You were asking me earlier. Obviously, I'm not.
I thought you were.
Actually, no, I was.
I'm confused with Joanna.
Oh, okay. No, you could be, you know. They've got Indian Peranakans too.
Serious?
They call them
chippies.
They call them
Chippies?
Chippies.
Perception I have of Peranakan is actually the Chinese who adopted Malay culture. We realized something new about Peranakan.
I thought it was a crossbreed. Malay Chinese crossbreed.
Crossbreed.
Then it's
So
called
there is
A lot of people
understand.
think it's a crossbreed.
Yeah, I thought it's the Chinese who adopt Malay cultures in the olden times, and that's how their dressing and their food is influenced in such a manner.
Very adaptive race. We're very adaptive. We can't define one until you contrast yourself with another. China. But with Peranakans, when you came here, you wanted to live here. So it's kind of like really migrating. In a sense, Peranakan is more Chinese than Chinese sometimes, because the China and Chinese lost a lot of their cultural practices and their traditions, etc. with Mao's Cultural Revolution. They don't even know what happened before right now. All went up in flames and burnt. But this bit of us here came down, and we still have some of our practices intact, and you really want to go ahead and look at them.
It's quite interesting because the play itself actually speaks to, I think, all races. It's not just Peranakan, because this the whole idea of finding yourself and the journey and identity. I think what distinguishes, well, if you look at it in terms of the Peranakan culture, is that it's sort of like you said, the Peranakans are very adaptive. So I think they are in that sense, the play is sort of finding its way around a Peranakan identity.
Yes.
So because of that, you have all these characters with conflicts, and I mean that is experienced by anyone of any race. But when set in the Peranakan culture with the chairs and the vase and the costumes and all that, I guess it does add the element of just giving a hint to Peranakan identity trying to find itself.
Right.
Okay, it's not beating the audience over the head with the Peranakan. So there's something to relate to it. And at the same time, I think it helps them find their own identity, because Singapore is such a young country. We don't have a strong identity, and the Peranakan culture is one of the few things that have at least some roots. People from all races can identify someone with their.
Yeah, so
That's how I viewed it as well.
yeah,
So I guess it applies to everyone.
That's the journey that I sort of took on. So the very first exercise when you asked us, what do you think of the Peranakan? Yeah, lost. Okay, like being Peranakan. I mean, because I can't identify, but what I can identify is being a minority and trying to find your space in the minority.
Peranakans, all through Blue Peranakans have this natural zest for life. We've got this joie de vivre, passionate, we've got appetites, we've got a lot of appetites. And we really love the finer things, and we really love living life
There are a lot
fullest.
of young people who do not know that they are Peranakans, right?
There are, yes.
There are.
Chanel might be one of them. Yeah. Why is it that is the essence of being Peranakan?
It's the culture, right?
It's the culture, and it's the fact that you were brought up in a certain kind of an environment, and it imbues you with certain qualities. And for me, it's the ability to adapt and to empathize and to be a very warm, hopefully be a very warm person most of the time.
Would it be like the festivals that they're supposed to celebrate?
And that is also to do with the performative aspect, right?
Performative.
Performative, yeah. You want to identify yourself.
Now it makes me wonder, why am I Hindu?
Maybe you should just play on that song next time.
Next time, next
I'll be
time.
controversial.
adapts too well, you are losing your culture that way, your own culture, because you adapt to your surroundings.
Well, I don't think it's you're losing a culture. As I said, you can't dilute a culture like that, but you will lose it if you are not aware of where you came from. You will lose it if you, like for example, if I had no idea that I was Peranakan, but I knew I was different because of the things that were going on at home, and because the way that I was brought up was very different from the way that my peers were brought up. The way I would react to situations would be very different.
But that's the paradox, to hold on to the traditions, but at the same time to adapt to surroundings. So I think the new generation of Peranakans will have to reinvent and find themselves. You can no longer cling too much to, the previous generation.
Just to bring it back to the place, just like Mama did what she had to do, marry up, etc., and adapted to her surroundings, and then in order to have a comfortable life for herself. And now the daughter has to figure out what she's all about, but the daughter is also, at the end of the day, very, very aware of her strong connection with Mama, who molded her into the woman that she ends up to be. It's kind of why I didn't want to make Mama, I could have easily said, okay, instead of baking cookies, right, you bake guacamole.
Oh.
I didn't want to make it so explicit. I just wanted to give it, okay, I'll just use a lullaby as a bridging device, because language is very powerful, and a song is very powerful. So I just chose one element and one motif that was identifiably Peranakan in the play. And I had that. For me, I totally can't tell. Just by looks, I totally can't tell.
Yeah,
But by the person's actions and what he does or what she does, I'll be able to tell straight away.
Actually, come to think of it, all my Peranakan friends are all very awkward. They're quite flamboyant. Yeah, so, yeah, I think it's actually.
But the first thing, like, if you ask whether the person's a Peranakan, oh, the food!
The food, yes.
I think in any race, any religion, that is the association. It's the clothing, the cultural practices, the ceremonies that you indulge in, the food.
Because these are the things that you can see. These are the visual aspects. And the thing about Peranakan culture is that it's a very visual culture. It's a very material culture.
What will you answer if someone asks, what is Peranakan? One simple sentence.
Sure, that's the ultimate
Say-
bombshell.
Okay, if I have to sum it up in a phrase, I would have to say carpe diem. How do you feel? How do you feel? I mean, if you were to learn that you're Peranakan.
I'll feel proud. Like, even if I'm not Peranakan, I would want to.